Hey, Battle Bill, here with another video, and today we're getting into some practice Go Battle League battles. We're getting into some practice Little Cup battles, because today, by the time this video comes out, Season 5 Go Battle League is here, and with Season 5, Battle Bill has a raspy voice, and we don't have our usual Great League, Ultra League, or Master League battles that we're going to be getting into. We got 3 weeks of 1 week being Little Cup, 1 week being Kanto Cup, and 1 week being Catch Cup. Check out one of my previous videos, my thoughts on Season 5, to get my opinions on them. I'm not going to get into it right now, but we got to deal with the card that we're dealt with. We got 3 weeks of this. I still enjoy playing Go Battle League. Hopefully after this season I'll still enjoy it, but I did some practice Little Cup battles, so I'm prepared to have success in some Season 5 Go Battle League battles. Now, the team that you're going to see, it's a team that I put together to win with. From the company that brought you the meta Pokemon of Azumarill in Great League, and the meta Pokemon of Registeel in Ultra League, and the meta Pokemon of Dialga in Master League, and Metagross in Master League Premier. Welcome to Little Cup, where the meta Pokemon is Bronzor. Yes, Bronzor owns the meta for Little Cup, so you can expect one on my team. I don't plan on making too many Little Cup Pokemon, so I do apologize if there are lack of spice videos coming out. But one thing I will say is, if you decide you want to make some spice, I would love to shoutcast it. If you can get me your videos as soon as possible with some positive Little Cup sets, that would be extremely hype. That is something I want to see. We only have a week of this cup, so the sooner the better. I would love to shoutcast it, but honestly, I don't plan on making too many Pokemon for Little Cup. They're expensive, I want to win, and I'm very low on dust, and I have not been catching and grinding as much as I prefer to. So this team that I'm running with right now had a lot of success with in practice, and I'm hoping I have success with an actual Go Battle League battles, because I really don't plan on changing it up. But either way, if you're excited for Season 5 and some Little Cup battles, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's jump into these battles. So, a few things to note on the screen, the layout with the Pokemon, the order, and the moves. Technically, these battles I'm going to be shoutcast for you guys a little bit out of order. This was my favorite battle of the 5 practice battles that I did, and it was the most, I guess, like GBL-like battle I'm expecting to see when we get into some Little Cup battles. And I end up running Why Not in the lead, and I think with this team of 3, Why Not, Bronzor, and Stunky, I think Why Not in the lead is best, because most people are going to try to hide their Bronzors in the back. So my main counter for Bronzor, along with the mirror, is Shadow Stunky. Shadow Stunky is one of the very few Pokemon that can beat Bronzor in all shielding situations. So if you can get your hands on a Shadow Stunky, even if it has frustration, that's okay. I mean, it's going to be expensive to get the 3rd move, which, yes, I bought the 3rd move for my Shadow Stunky for 1 week's worth of Little Cup battles. This is what I'm talking about. It's going to be very expensive for me to try out anything other than this team. But if you have Bite and Crunch, that's all you need on your Shadow Stunky to have success with it. You don't really need Sludge Bomb or Flamethrower for any serious matchups, anything game-changing along those lines. And then, of course, I'm running Bronzor. Bronzor is the face of this meta, literally. Bronzor is a face. You've probably seen videos from other content creators talking about it and how it literally wins almost all the matchups in the Little Cup, on top of it being like the top-rated Pokemon on PvPoke, as well as being the top lead, top closer, top switch. It's literally got A's across the board, so gotta go with it. I want to win coming into this. I want to try Spice, but at the same time, it's a week of a meta, and it's expensive. And we don't know if we're getting another one of these. So please, forgive me. I already know. You're going to yell at me in the comment section. I'm using Bronzor. I'm going to apologize now, but I'm being real with you guys. Okay? On this note, we got one long, boring mirror match here between these Why Nots, which is why I was able to tell this entire story. Also, I am not doing fast move denial well whatsoever. First of all, I don't really know how to, so I should really check that. But my opponent snuck in a ton of extra fast moves, and I was like a couple counters behind. I had way less health, and he was also getting to mirror codes before I was. So I swap in the Bronzor expecting to lose. He stays in with his Why Not, and then swaps, and he swaps into a Vulpix. So this is the crazy thing about Bronzor, which you probably already know, is that a Pokemon, Bronzor is a Steel type, going up against a Fire type in Vulpix, dealing Ember Fire type quick move damage, which would be super effective against Bronzor. My Confusions are doing just as much damage, if not more, to the Vulpix. I have to be careful because it did just Flame Charge me, because 1, I don't want to take a Flame Charge, and 2, it boosted Vulpix's attack. So it's pretty hype on Vulpix's side. I gotta give it its credit. But I'm telling you, Shadow Stunky is the play when it comes to countering Bronzor in this meta. I'm going to let you guys know this right away as soon as I possibly can, because honestly, I don't even mind not shielding this. I'm going to commit to my Bronzor with the shields, and I'm going to also come in here my Why Not to finish off this Vulpix. So, not my Bronzor, my Stunky with the shield. Obviously, my Bronzor went down. My Stunky with the shield, because I was also fully expecting, after seeing his 2 Pokemon of Why Not and Vulpix, I was fully expecting his 3rd Pokemon to be a Bronzor. And look at Stunky go. Stunky is classy. It's a Shadow, obviously. I need 1 shield here to protect from the Psyshock, but honestly, that would have done about half of my remaining damage. He swaps because nobody really knows it counts. He swapped a bit early on before I got to the crunch, and now I'm getting to the crunch here. He has no shields. I'm going to crunch it and win this matchup. Even if I didn't have a shield and I Psyshock, Stunky was still going to win that, and I'm telling you now, you're welcome. Also, please take note, in that last battle, I had the correct moveset on my Bronzor. You want Heavy Slam as a charge move and Psyshock. In the rest of these matches, I ended up running Gyro Ball because these next 4 came before that first one. But again, I'm sorry, that first one was like the most realistic to what you're going to see in GBL once Little Cup starts, which is why I wanted to show it off right away. And you want Heavy Slam on your Bronzor, better DPE. If you're going to buy a 3rd move, some people might not be buying 3rd moves. I don't really blame you. Like, who wants to spend this much dust on a 1-week cup? But I would not be surprised if it's a cup that returns in the future at some point, whether it comes for another week in another season, or it comes in a Go Battle Night, or if they bring it back and they ban Bronzor, because I think that's 100% what the future play would be for this cup to be a little bit more diverse. But, you're going to notice some of these matchups are really long, ironically, because they're such low-level Pokemon, so they're doing such little damage to each other, and then some of them also have some bulk and resistances. Like, I'm taking resisted damage from this Mirror Coat that's about to come through from Why Not, but Why Not also has a super low attack, and Mirror Coat's also just like a really trash move. So I have to Confusion it down, and I'm confusing it with resisted confusions, and Why Not is a tanky boy. So that's the other thing. Shadow Stunky on this team of 3 is super classy, but Bronzor and Why Not are super tanky. So that's why I think this team of 3 also works really well. It'll probably be one of the more meta teams of 3. I think you're going to see Bronzor and Why Not together on a lot of teams, especially because of the fact that like Bronzor gets countered by Dark types. Why Not has access to counter, so those 2 things kind of go well together. And now, because I ended up, did I get both shields or 1 shield? I'm trying to like give explanations of my knowledge on the Little Cup, which is very little at this moment. You know, it's a perfect cup for me because I'm a little person. All right, I'm not a little person, but I'm below average height-wise. I won't go there. All right, anyhow, now I'm really like off topic. But anyhow, what was, I don't even know what my thought processes were here. Oh, I wanted to lure out his back Pokemon. I wanted to see what his last Pokemon was, and I was trying to see what damage I can get my Why Not onto his Vulpix. But with a shield advantage, I don't really mind the Bronzor on Vulpix matchup. I just really want to see what his last Pokemon was, in case it was a Bronzor, or in case her Pokemon, I'm so sorry, in case her Pokemon was a Bronzor, just because of the fact that if it was a Bronzor, I was losing this matchup. Luckily, it ends up being Cottony. Is that Cottony? Yeah, it's Cottony. We only see first stage Pokemon so often, and because it was a Cottony, I was able to take it down. If she had a Bronzor of her own there, Why Not would have struggled there. Her Bronzor probably would have had more health than my Bronzor, and would have ended up beating me, which just goes to show how OP Bronzor is. Whoever's Bronzor has the most health at any point in the matchup, at any point in any match, is going to be winning, and thankfully, I'm able to pull out this second match here. Also, I don't know if I stress this enough, but I know I want to stress this for the YouTube commenter that's going to mention it. Yes, I had Gyro Ball on my Bronzor. The mistake was I bought the 3rd move, didn't realize it had access to 2 steel type moves, and I just kept whichever move it was, and I realized it was Gyro Ball after, and I was like, you know, I watched some YouTuber, Alf, I watched his video and I was like, he said Bronzor had Heavy Slam. So after a few matches, I went and checked PvP Poke, changed it, and that's why the first match I had Heavy Slam. The rest of these 4 I'm going to have Gyro Ball, and it's not going to make too big of a difference in any of these matches, but again, just for that piece of information. It was a mistake on my end. I'm letting you know, Heavy Slam on Bronzor, not Gyro Ball. Now I'm just repeating myself, but I already know I'm going to get comments about it, that's why, but you know, just keep commenting. It's okay. It is what it is. I don't know why my voice sounds like this. Let me know if you prefer light, low, raspy Battle Bill. I really lost my voice this weekend, clearly. But, regardless, I lost lead in this match. I swap, and then I just really start struggling with this Dino, and then I make a big mistake here. I swap in the Stunky. I was trying to guess at where my Pokemon were on the Switch menu, and I wanted to swap into Why Not, because Why Not would be dealing super effective counters to Dino, and instead I went into Stunky there, and got absolutely decimated by a Body Slam. Honestly, even if I go into Why Not, and the Dino doesn't stay in, my opponent here probably could have swapped out their Dino and saved it for later to beat me in this match regardless. But that poor swap just made my Stunky completely go to waste. And then we're just going to sit through another really slow matchup of these super slow charms coming through and my super slow counters doing no damage. Luckily, a charge move, Energy Ball, is going to come through from the Cottony and do half of my remaining health. I'm going to overfarm a bit just because I know that I'm being charmed at, so I'm not expecting another charge move to be coming through soon. And then I'm just throwing these Psy Shocks. Honestly, it's so fascinating to me how quickly some of these Pokemon can go down. And at this point, it's GG because the Bronzor matchup, I have less health. My main counter for it, I kind of just threw in the garbage when I put it in front of the Dino and the Dino body slammed me. But it honestly kind of blows my mind how quickly some Pokemon can go down and then how slowly some of these matchups can be. They're like so hit or miss. The two main slow ones that you're going to end up seeing are the Bronzor ones and the Why Not matchups. And I guess maybe on Cottony that'll be a slow matchup, but the rest of them are going to be pretty quick. So if people aren't running Bronzor, you'll have some really fast matches, but I'm pretty confident that everybody and their mothers are going to be running Bronzor, and I'm not going to blame them for a single second because it's the meta Pokemon. It's more meta than any of the other Pokemon I mentioned in the beginning of this video in each of their respective leagues. Like look at how much the end game, this Bronzor is just absolutely owning my Why Not. I can't do any damage to it. I'm dealing neutral counters to it. I'm getting resisted Mirror Coats, and again, Mirror Coat's a trash move. But even earlier when I had my Bronzor on my opponent's Vulpix and whatnot, like those didn't really feel like negative matchups. Like even when it's being countered, it's really not being countered. The only time you're going to end up losing a match is, again, when your opponent's Bronzor has more health than your Bronzor. And that ends up being GG. I made a crucial mistake there, but it's important to play it out and see how the matchups and these moves go through. It's always important to have these types of practice matches before you get into any type of brand new cup, just so you can see how quick moves are doing damage, how charge moves are doing damage, which Pokemon are bulky, which Pokemon are glassy. In this matchup, I had a pretty positive matchup because my bites were doing more damage to the Darumaka than the Fire Fangs I think were doing to my Stunky. I think it was Fire Fang or Ember, probably Fire Fang. So my opponent here then swaps into their Dino, and I have Why Not to deal super effective counters, and I'm kind of slaughtering this Dino here. I shield just because I was worried about a crunch, and at that point I didn't know how much a crunch would do, and I didn't want to take the chance because I wanted to, win out this matchup since I had a positive situation. I didn't want to let a crunch go through and be like, you know what, let's find out, and now lose the match because I found out. But regardless, my opponent comes back in with their Murkrow. My opponent has a female avatar, but it's a he. It's a friend of mine. I know this one for a fact. But my opponent brought a Murkrow, and when I first saw it come in, I thought he had a Volibee, and I was like, oh wow, that's quite the pick. And I saw Murkrow there, and I was super confused. And I'm like, you know what? These counters are at least doing neutral damage because of Murkrow's flying, dark typing. It was quite the spice team, and I respect my friend's decision, trying to avoid using Bronzor and coming with triple Bronzor counters, 2 dark types and a fire type. But look at this Darumaka on Bronzor matchup. This thing is dealing Fire Fangs to me, super effective Fire Fangs. My Confusions are doing more damage. I shield here just because I figure it's a fire charge move, and I'm not really trying to find out how much damage everything is doing right here, because again, I'm trying to still win at the same time. I was able to Confusion down a fire type before it could do anything serious to my Bronzor, and fire is supposed to counter steal. It's honestly insane how broken Bronzor is. And then he comes in with a Murkrow, and I'm going to be able to pretty much Confusion it down. He just gets to a charge move here, and let's see if this charge move is going to take out my Bronzor. It doesn't take it out, so even the dark type Murkrow is not going to be able to take out my Bronzor, which is a psychic type, which would be taking super effective damage from the dark moves. Bronzor is so broken. If you guys hated other metas, you're gonna hate this one the most because you're gonna see Bronzor literally in every match. And like the worst part about it is that things that you would expect to counter Bronzor just don't. So if you try to run Spice, good luck, and if you have success with it and you're able to beat Bronzors with something that's not Shadow Stunky, please send them to my Google Drive link. I would love to watch your battles. Like, I'm still excited for the meta. Like, look how much a super effective crunch is doing. That did about half my health, which, I mean, like, is something, but just considering the fact that these are 500 CP Pokemon, that was a super effective charge move that I let go through, it definitely should have done more than that. And now my opponent comes in with a Gibble, and Gibble is one spammy little dragon boy. He's getting there, and then I realize it's only body slams, but still, those mud shots are charging up energy very quickly, and he's had another body slam already, but this time I realized, oh, it's just a body slam. I thought maybe he had Mud Bomb, which is why I shielded the first one, because I don't know any of the movesets of these opposing Pokemon's moves, charge moves. Yeah, there we go. That's how that works. So I was shielding just to be safe. So I go for a side shock, and I end up winning switch advantage using my Bronzor after taking a crunch from a Dino and going up against what would be a ground type, which is typically super effective against Steel. I think I made my point here, so I'm gonna shut up. I'm kind of overdoing it here. But now I have my Why Not on Dino, and then that's the other. Again, I mean, I already said that earlier. Why Not is a great Pokemon to pair with Bronzor just because it helps counter the dark types that could try to counter your Bronzor. And now my opponent has a Turtwig, and I bring in my Shadow Stunky, practically bite it down before I get Razor Leaf down, and now it's down to my Why Not going up against my opponent's Dino, and I'm able to counter it down. He ends up not using a shield, and I take that match. So, you know, I went 4-1, but these were all practice battles, and they were all just us testing stuff out to see what works, to see certain spice. Like my friend in the, well, there was some spice here, but in the match before, those were 3 spice Pokemon. Pretty well, Dino, I guess, is kind of meta, but Murkrow and Darumaka, like, it stinks because I feel like if Bronzor wasn't there, there'd be so many opportunities to play with some really weird tiny Pokemon. That would be a lot of fun and very exciting. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling about Little Cup battles. I'm still excited for just like Season 5 and just any type of competitiveness. I know it's a different way to get to rank 10, but I'm still excited to test it out and see what people can potentially come up with, and hopefully somebody's able to figure out something to deal with Bronzors, because I'm going to bring my own Bronzor, and my answer for Bronzor is going to be my Shadow Stunky. And on that note, hopefully I'm able to pull some positive sets. But if you guys do not submit me anything spicy, expect this week to just consist of me running this team in video after video, because unless I start losing a bunch, I really would like to not spend any more dust on this cup. Making 3 Pokemon was plenty for me. So, what have our first few practice battles taught us so far? Bronzor is broken. Shadow Stunky is I'm going to say its best counter. Disagree with me in the comments. Let me know. Please tell me. Tell me what you think is a better counter if you have one. And let's go check PvP Poke and how the simulations go, because I have no intentions of making those Pokemon yet and then testing them unless, again, I start struggling. And then I think Why Not pairs very well with Bronzor to cover it. But overall, I feel like this is a solid team. Comes off pretty meta, other than the Shadow Stunky. The other 2, Why Not and Bronzor, I expect to see everywhere. But tell me what teams you're expecting to be running for Little Cup, and hopefully we'll start maybe practicing for Kanto Cup, because that'll be coming the week after, especially if Little Cup gets stale after the first few days. Let me know what teams you're going to be trying for Kanto Cup, so I can start practicing with that and showcase those mons on the channel for you guys. Other than that, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you have some dope battles, again, let me remind you for the 3rd time, because it's going to be a very short week like Halloween Cup. If you want your battles to be featured, please get them to my Google Drive link in the description as soon as possible, so that I can watch them over with you guys and talk to you about them. Alright, I'll catch you in the next video.